welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. For today's video, I'm actually doing something a little different, and I'm doing a collab with quite a few other YouTubers whose channels I will link below, so make sure you go check them out. And we are all doing a kind of through the ages collab where we are taking on a different decade. And so, I don't know if you could tell from my lovely do, but I am doing the 1940s. And let's be clear, I do makeup, I don't do hair. And so when I was like, yeah, I'll do the 40s, I was like, I need to do something with my hair that makes it like signify the 40s, because the 40s had all these fun like hairstyles and all these like hot roller kind of looks, and you know, people put so much time and dedication and effort into getting those perfect curls. And so when I was trying all these different things and trying all these YouTube videos and stuff, and nothing was working and it just wasn't gonna happen, so I found a like cheat video on how to do victory curls, victory rolls, a super easy way. And shoot, I forgot the name of the YouTuber, but I will link her video below because I did steal this look from her using her tutorial. And to be honest, these like, it's 2 rolls, right? And this one's like falling down, but whatever, you get the idea. These 2 probably took me half an hour. So, you know. But like I said, I'm going to be doing a 1940s look, and in preparing for this tutorial, for this video, I actually wanted to do a little bit of research first on 1940s makeup, and I found a picture I wanted to use as my inspiration, and it's this picture here. And looking at it, I was like, this just looks so simple. Like, there's so little makeup in this picture, it looks like. However, makeup can be deceiving, and makeup that's done really well should look like there's very little makeup. But when I looked very closely at pictures, this picture and others that I had looked at, I really noticed there was a lack of eyeshadow, there was a lack of a lot of different things, like eyeliner, a lot of different things that we would not think twice about using today. So I decided to do a little bit of research and found out that makeup in the 40s was in fact very simple, very basic, and very purposeful. I mean, there was a war going on, and I know especially in places like Europe, they stopped manufacturing makeup, so women had to make do with household items or different fruits and vegetables and foods as supplements for makeup. So 40s makeup is a very kind of odd mix of glamour, because you see 40s makeup and you're like, sometimes it's so glamorous, and purposeful. So what I want to do today is kind of a cross between the two, definitely playing up some of the more glam features of it, but staying true to that real more purposeful roots of 40s makeup. So let's get started. Now, in the 1940s, people didn't use anywhere near the number of products people use today. And one of the products that they avoided, or that they skipped, or I should say just didn't have, was primer. Now, I did read that some people did use baby oil on their faces before using foundation to help foundation last longer and add some shine and glow to their face. I'm not going to do that because my skin's oily enough without it, but I am going to jump right into foundation. And foundations in the 40s were entirely matte. Everything was matte about them. And it was very key to have a very matte face, as we'll get to in a minute. But for foundation today, I'm going to use the Infallible Pro Matte. You see why I'm doing that? And I'm going to go ahead and pop that onto the back of my hand, and we're going to put on our foundation. Now, while I was looking up different makeup techniques and products and whatnot, now, foundation in the 40s was used very much for similar reasons as it's used today. It was used to correct skin tone and skin color, or discolorations of skin, so correct any blemishes. That was its purpose then. However, it had one very interesting purpose when it came time to powder, because powder was kind of the central, or not central, but most important piece of makeup someone wore. And if you notice, if you've ever seen like sitcoms like I Love Lucy, which is from the 50s, but still applies. That was what the goal was to get back then, though. It was to have that cakey face. So because powder was so important, it was so important to get that cakey face. If you just went right on with powder, it would fall off your face at that time, the kinds of powders that they sold. So that's the other big reason that foundation was used, was so that powder would actually adhere and stay on your face. Fun fact. Now, like I said, in the 40s, they didn't use nearly the amount of products, and so some of the products that they didn't use included concealer, which hadn't actually been invented yet. So after foundation, you went right to powder, and powder was, like I said, the centerpiece of makeup. Powder helped create that very matte, no shine look. It also helped makeup last, and it was very trendy, if you will, for 40s makeup to be cake face. In fact, Max Factor, a brand of makeup, actually came out with a powder called pancake makeup. There you have it. For powder, I'm going to try and stay as true to the decade as I can. Brushes existed then. You know, there were powder brushes, there were foundation brushes, they all existed, but powder was always applied first with a powder puff. And so I'm going to use my Air Spun loose powder, and I'm going to use the puff with it, and this should be entertaining. Now, people applied it very liberally and then came in with a brush and cleaned it off. Perhaps that was the beginnings of like baking. Okay, I'm gonna come in with my powder brush and just wipe away all of the powder. Okay, so we have a very nice matte face. Now, the one thing women really played up in terms of features was blush. In fact, they called it rouge. So for rouge, they went always with something more on the red side, less on the pink side. And because it really gave life to their face when the rest of it was so matte. So for blush rouge, I'm going to use from ColourPop Super Shock Cheek Shadows in the shade Cheerio, which is pretty red. A really pretty, it's got more like rosy mauve-y tones to it. Just gonna pick some of this up on my brush. Not much, I'm gonna build, so I'm not gonna start with a lot. I'm gonna smile. I read that most women usually doubled up on their blushes. I am not doing that at the moment, but they would start off with a cream blush and then move into a powder on top. They meant business with blush. And they would take it on their cheekbones and blend back. So again, with the eyes, it's all a very simple, very natural look. For brows, first, women filled in their brows, but they just filled them in where they were. They didn't add to them, they didn't try and reshape them, they just filled in their natural crease, natural shape of their brow. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the natural shape of my brow. But just filling them in just to get rid of the spots in the center is not something I'm used to. Now, in terms of eyeshadow, some people did use eyeshadow if they could afford it or if it was being produced. If they did, it was a very natural shade that actually matched their eye color. So I would go with a brown. I'm not going to actually use any eyeshadow today because for the most part, women didn't use eyeshadow. Women did like their mascara though. They used many, many, many coats of it. And so that's what I'm going to do today. Use many, many coats of mascara. Moving on to the lips. Lip liner didn't come out until later, almost to the 50s. They came out in the 40s, but not until the very end. So for the most part, people just stuck with lipstick. However, I'm going to add some lip liner. Why not? Because I'm going to use red and, come on, you know I need all the help I can with red lip liner, or with red lipstick. Using MAC Cherry. Okay, and over top, I'm using Urban Decay New Vice Lipstick in No Tell Motel. So here is my 40s style makeup look. I hope you enjoyed this video. this tutorial, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you go check out the other YouTube channels listed below. And I think the first decade starts in the 1920s and all the way up through like 2000s. Just a makeup look that really showcases that decade. And so don't forget to, again, like, comment, subscribe, and check out their videos, and like, comment, subscribe to them as well, because they are all phenomenal makeup artists, so make sure you check them out. And I will see you next time. Bye, guys!